Josh Bywaters with DeJoya Suburban Excavating, also known as DSE. Thanks for attending our proposal for the Firestone project located in Mentor, Ohio. Key project management personnel proposed for the project to include myself as the project manager, Mia Wagner as the lead estimator, Heather Hildebred as the scheduler, the construction administrator being McKenna Peschnell, and the on-site superintendent as Kyle Spree. This meeting will consist of project safety, quality control methods utilized, add-on proposals, construction, scheduling to include subcontractors, along with a crew planner, and lastly, the proposed project expense overview. Site map and logistics plan will vary depending on the phase of the project, but the initial phase will have a perimeter of silk fencing to be in compliance with the stormwater safety plan. We will have a designated lane of travel for entering and exiting with daily traffic and deliveries. The back of the lot will be a fenced laydown yard area, and on the front east corner will be a concrete washout bin, convenient for concrete trucks exiting the site. Vision at DSE is to have safety as the cornerstone of our company's culture. We are committed to continuous improvement in safety with the goal of building an incident-free safety culture. To accomplish this, we have implemented the BEAR program, known as Behavior Eliminates All Risk, IWPs, benchmarks, subcontractor management, and our daily use of the life-saving rules in everything we do. We have already touched on, to protect the environment during construction, we will utilize silt fencing, concrete truck washout bins, silt bags for water discharging, and roll-off dumpsters for the appropriate debris. We identified the 5 top hazardous tasks on the project, which include excavation, masonry, framing and roofing, MEP, fixtures and finishes. Each work crew will identify on a JHA daily task with hazards and mitigations to conduct the task safely. Also included in our proposal is a 38-page site-specific safety plan to your project.
Hello, I'm Kyle Spree. I will be the superintendent for the build on the Firestone Center in Mentor, Ohio. At DSE, quality is held to the highest standard. However, we also believe that our priority is to have each and every one of the workers, whether it be one of our own or one of our subcontractors, go home safe and sound to their families and loved ones at the end of the day. With this, we also believe that you, the customer, are getting the highest level of results needed so that you can have the best building and best service possible. This is the DSE standard, and we will not offer anything less than that. At the end of the day, the goal of the project is to have 0 NCRs, 0 punch lists, 0 rework, and ultimately 0 injuries. For our quality objectives and goals, and to achieve the highest standards that we set for ourselves, and to deliver this to you, the end state user of it, we will start by having a solid benchmarking procedure in place and complete all the pre-activities. With this, that means that we will have a solid pre-work plan to ensure that there are no delays due to supplies not showing up on time, subcontractors not arriving when they're supposed to, and there are no questions as the schedule is going forward because it has been anticipated prior to. Along with this, we also will complete exercises to ensure that if certain situations and other things that we have seen through our 40 years of experience arise, we have a solution to solve that. So that way your project is delivered on time and on budget. As part of our day-to-day quality program, inspections are performed daily by myself, the superintendent, and any of the foremen on site. Along with that, we'll have a field engineer on site to assist with this. Any and all damage to equipment or personnel or any of the materials that show up on site and are not to the highest standard must be reported and documented and immediately addressed. All of these observations will be created and sent out utilizing the reports tool through a construction management software that we use called Procore. Procore allows us to link with our office staff, our field staff, and our subcontractors to ensure that everybody is reporting through a single source that follows a standardized format. This, in the end, creates a streamlined process for you. These detailed inspections will primarily be performed by the field engineer and will be filed in the program I spoke of earlier. The field engineer's on-site responsibilities are to work with the superintendent to ensure that the goals are met and that the highest quality standards are being delivered. There's also a field quality manager. They work back in the office. They will audit all of the inspections and the benchmarks to make sure that these are being followed, that the field staff and the office staff are aligned to deliver you the highest product, so that in the end, when we give you the project binder to show you of all the work that has been completed, you know that you are getting the highest standard. With with Procore and with the qualified individuals that are on our team, we will constantly have an open line of communication from the lowest level on the ground to you, the owner and architects. We believe that communication is key, so that as issues come up, or just to inform you of the continued quality of work that is being performed on site. Along with that, as we deal with different job sites and different municipalities, we understand that there are specific trainings for the crew members and subcontractors that will be on site. So there is no holdup when they show up on site. We are requiring all of our employees and any of the subcontractors that are working for us to have these completed prior to showing up on site so that there is no delay in the schedule. Many of the things I spoke about earlier all relate to this first bullet point. We want to minimize the construction defects from occurring. And in the end, we want you to have a building of the highest standard that we and yourself should be proud to have your name on. We will ensure that our work conforms to all of the contractually obligated specifications that you provided to us, and along with that, the functional performance requirements so that you are getting the building that you want. We're going to ensure that our workmanship that is required by the contract documents is qualified by qualified craftsmen from every trade. This means that all of our contractors must show that they are proficient through our working relationship, and we are guaranteeing that they will meet this standard. We have worked with or know of every single one of the contractors that will be on site, and their work quality must be up to our standard. All of the contractually obligated required inspections and tests will be performed in a timely manner. This will not be a reason for holding up the project. As I spoke about, we will have the field engineer constantly performing the inspections and observations through our use of Procore and the inspection checklist that we have derived through our experience. In the end, we want to ensure that we have a zero-item punch list, or what can also be referred to as rework items, at the point of substantial completion and you are ready to occupy. One of the leading causes of the schedule being extended is due to rework during construction. Because of our extensive inspection procedures and highly qualified craftsmen, we would like to minimize this at all possible during construction. Our superintendent on site, myself, will be performing constant review of the drawings and the schedule to ensure that this doesn't happen, so that all the required contractors are performing their section when needed and to the standard that we require. Because of this, we want to minimize the final punch list or the items that need additional attention because they are not performed up to our standard. We want to ensure that this is very minor because we are doing our part throughout the process. And with that, the warranties that are obligated through the contractual documents, we want to make sure that those are preserved and hopefully not needed because of the quality of work delivered on the front end. An essential part of the quality that we intend to deliver involves testing of all materials and build items within the structure. With this, we have our own testing requirements, but at certain portions, such as the asphalt, the soil, the concrete, and the plumbing, we will be using third parties to perform this. This ensures that a non-biased party is certifying our work for you so that you can have confidence not only in us, but in the products and the building itself. This testing will be performed in accordance with all local, state, and national requirements. Many times we feel our standards are much higher than these requirements, so we are confident that all testing and guarantee that all testing will be performed at or beyond these standards. Myself and my on-site staff will be coordinating this testing at all phases of the build so that not only is the building performed to code, but you have that guarantee and reassurance that it was done to code. Along with our coordination for this, we will ensure that testing is not a reason for a delay in construction. Thank you. And with that, I would like to thank you for your time, and I will pass it off now to our scheduling team.
Hi, my name is Mia Wagner. I'll be discussing our add-on proposals with you for the Firestone building. The first proposal we'll be discussing is in-floor heating, which will be installed in the service bay area and in front of the bay doors, utilizing a step warm floor system. The second proposal we'll be discussing are solar panels. This is a Paradise Energy Solutions 60 kilowatt system, and you may be wondering if solar panels are appropriate for Northeast Ohio. The amount of solar power and solar production is based on a measurement called a peak sun hour, and this represents the amount of solar energy that's available throughout a day. The average peak sun hour, as you can see from the photo for the Cleveland, Ohio area, is 4.1 hours per day. Though this doesn't seem like a lot, on the other side of the state of Ohio, outside of Toledo, the Campbell Soup Company generates 15% of its Napoleon facility's electricity through solar panels. Now, they do have a very large system with 24,000 solar panels that generates 9.8 megawatts of solar power, but it does prove that solar power can make a difference for companies in the northern part of Ohio. The first proposal we'll discuss a little more in depth is the in-floor heating. Now, in case you're not familiar with in-floor heating, radiant heat is the process in which energy is emitted by one body and transmitted through a medium and then absorbed by another body. So the radiant floor heating systems are becoming increasingly popular for commercial buildings in open workspaces such as warehouses, as well as driveways, drive aprons, or other driving surfaces. Because of Firestone's location in Menor in Lake Erie's snowbelt, I feel this location would be a perfect candidate for radiant floor heating. The system would be installed prior to pouring of the concrete floor and the drive aprons outside of the overhead doors, and this would help to maintain a more comfortable temperature in the shop for the workers. Heating the areas outside of the overhead doors would assist with snow and ice melt and will make the work environment safer for employees and customers when the weather is not ideal. A commonly used radiant floor heating system is electric radiant floors, which uses heating cables, flexible heating films, and self-regulating heating elements. The electric cables and flexible heating films convert the electrical power into heat, and since the power that's generated is fixed, temperatures are controlled by thermostats and floor sensors. The Joy Suburban will work with Step Warm Floor to determine a layout that will best suit the need for the heating. And the installation is fairly simple, including cutting the element to the proper length, making the electrical connections, and running the extension wires to the power supply. Once installed, the radiant heating solution is maintenance-free. In the Step Commercial radiant heating solution we're proposing is a thin 3/64-inch flexible heating element, and that can be installed, like I said before, prior to the concrete being poured. Now, the total cost for this system is a little over $57,000, but this will offer a large benefit, as well as essentially being maintenance free once installed. The other alternate that we're going to discuss that's becoming increasingly popular for both residential and commercial applications are solar panels. And solar panels work by allowing particles of light to knock electrons free from atoms, and that generates a flow of electricity. As discussed on one of the previous slides, solar panel measurement and solar production is based on what is called a peak sun hour, and this represents the amount of solar energy that's available throughout the day. Now, we believe that a 60 kilowatt system should be installed. The amount of space this will take up will be less than half of the roof, and it will be comprised of 150 solar panels that are 400 watts each. We work with Paradise Energy Solutions to install the system, and they complete all of the proper incentive paperwork for tax credits and other things that may be able to help you reduce the cost. Now, the federal tax credit for 2016 for solar panels is 30%, which is a huge discount that you'll be able to take advantage of the next tax season. And Ohio does offer net metering, meaning if at a time your solar panel is producing more electricity than you're using, this goes out into the grid and you receive credits. There's a time when your building is not producing enough electricity via the solar panels, you can reuse your extra credits, which basically takes away your electrical costs. Now, another interesting thing is that the in-floor heating system can also be powered by the solar panels, so this will help to reduce extra electric costs associated with the in-floor heating. We do believe that the Firestone building can have a near net zero amount of electricity needed to operate the building outside of solar panels, and that the average system payback will be approximately 8.2 years. Well, the upfront total cost of your solar panels is $168,000, which is a lot of money. However, you do get the 30% tax credit for 2016, and 8.2 years is a pretty reasonable payback time for that.
Hello, my name is Heather Hybrader, and I was the scheduler for this project. As per the request in the bid, the construction start date will be May 30th. Listed below are some of the key start dates, including excavation, which will be June 7th, foundation will be June 13th, framing July 14th, roofing July 21st, interiors August 30th, and landscaping October 10th. And then the finished construction date we anticipate being around October 30th. The duration for this project is 120 working days, which translates into 153 calendar days. On this slide is a visual representation of the dates that I showed you on the previous slide. As just a refresher, we have the bid awarded on April 20th, and then we have construction starting May 30th. And then here are some of the key components that are happening throughout, including the prep site, the initial MEP roof and foundation, framing, roofing, interiors, furniture, and landscaping happening in mid-late October, and then finally the site being turned over sometime in November and the closeout period starting thereafter. And then on this slide we have a list of some of the major subcontractors that will be working on the site, such as the steel, the carpentry, the plumbing, HVAC, electrical, and landscaping.
Hi, my name is McKenna, and I am the construction administrator over at DSE. Part of my job is to create and provide progress reports and organize and monitor important milestones throughout the project. You can see a little bit of that here with the breakdown overview and the major milestones that are to be met. In addition, part of my job is to evaluate the projects and assure budgets are met accordingly. Taking a look here, you can see our estimate for our cost of construction for the Firestone bid estimate. We also provided a bid form for a more itemized and in-depth estimate. If you take a look over here, our general conditions come out to 211,236. Existing conditions, 48,416. Concrete, 273,855. Masonry, 135,000. Metals, 83,500. Wood, plastic, and composite at 14,585. Thermal and moisture protection at 59,325. Openings, 56,758. Finishes, 30,216. Specialties, 7,816. Furnishings, 8,900. Conveying systems, 35,788. Contractor fee at 179,127. Fire suppression at 28,551. Plumbing, 47,150. HVAC, 47,400. Electrical, 137,562. Communications, 30,000. Electronic safety and security, 9,500. Earthwork, 29,532. Exterior improvements, 156,709. Utilities at 140,735. And that brings our grand total to $1,771,664.46.